human C4621 has awakened.
What's up, everyone? My name is Mitchell Saltzman, and today
Alright, this is
I'm
the
joined
interview
remotely all the way from Japan by producer
IGN
Yasunori
team,
Ogura to talk all about
talking
Armored
about
Core 6. How are you?
Armored Core 6.
Hi there, I'm great, thank you. I'm Yasunori.
Well, let's see if they got any
from
new
Software,
information in
producer
here.
on Armored Core 6.
Hopefully
it's
they
great
do.
To be here.
How
If
long
they
has
don't,
Armored Core 6 been
I'll try to
development, and
cut
what
out
has it been like
all the information
for From
everybody
Software
knows
to return to this franchise
and just have
that
the
was such a big
information
part of
that's
the company for
exclusive
such
to
a
this
long time?
interview that we didn't cover.
So we have been cultivating development staff through our experience with recent titles, and there were many members of staff, including Miyazaki and myself, who've wanted to make a new Armored Core game for a long time. So really, not making a new Armored Core was never really an option. It was a case of when rather than if. As to the game's direction and development, in around 2018, Miyazaki and some core members of the team began initial direction and forming the basic core concept of AC6. And after prototyping was complete, our director Yamamura took over on the project. However, as you know, we have several projects going on at the same time within the company, so we had to get an ideal allocation of resources. We had to get the right staff on board, which resulted in a slightly longer wait, but we're happy to finally bring a new Armored Core to our fans.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the story of Armored Core 6 and whether newcomers will be able to jump right into this entry if they haven't played any of the other ones?
This is a brand new story and has no direct link to previous titles. AC6 takes place in a future where interstellar travel is commonplace, not on Earth, but on a fictional planet in a distant star system called Rubicon 3. Rubicon is a devastated planet that was razed to ash in a great disaster caused by the outbreak of a mysterious new substance called coral.
Activating cerebral coral control device.
Which occurred half a century before the events of the game take place. At the outset of the game and the story, the player learns that coral, which was thought lost in this great disaster, has been rediscovered, and extraterrestrial corporate forces have begun an invasion race to acquire the rights to this mysterious and powerful new substance. So they are at conflict with the indigenous forces who are resisting their invasion on the planet Rubicon. And the player, as a lone independent mercenary and AC pilot, is thrust into this Rubicon war for the coral. So although AC6 is a numbered title, the setting and story are completely new, and we believe it makes a great first entry into the series for newcomers and old fans alike.
We're close to Rubicon. Wake the dog up.
So let's talk a little bit about Rubicon as a setting. Is there anything that's unique about the planet that will allow for kind of unique mission structures that people haven't seen in the Armored Core series previously?
There are two things we'd like to convey to both newcomers and old hands to the series. Armored Core offers two unique game experiences. First is this dynamic, three-dimensional action that can only be achieved with mechs. And the second is the ability to customize your own personal AC.
I can't wait to see what the combat feels like and plays like in this game. If they nail that right, this game is going to be
so
amazing.
These player-assembled, player-controlled ACs are able to fly freely through the air and handle multiple weapons simultaneously and turn on a dime, dash in different directions at once. This makes for a dynamic and very aggressive combat style that makes full use of the three-dimensional space, and we feel that this has always been an appeal of the Armored Core series and is an appeal of the mech action genre.
For die-hard Armored Core fans, what are the elements of Armored Core 6 that those hardcore fans are going to find appealing about this game?
With AC6, one area we focused on was to make sure that the customization aspect is not just about parameters going up and down and numerical values changing, but how these changes are reflected in the feel of the action as much as possible. In particular, the leg parts, which control the AC's movement, you might have a tank type legs that can perform drift turns, and this changes the very basic behavior and traversal type of the AC. We also made sure that the behavior of weapons, such as the way they shoot, how they recoil, how their projectiles behave, we tried to make sure that this all makes a big difference in how the game feels and plays.
So speaking a little bit about that customization, Armored Core games have a bit of a reputation for being very complex with many stats to consider, parts to swap in and out. Is there anything else that you guys are planning on doing with Armored Core 6 to make it a little more approachable for newcomers who might not be used to that level of complexity?
As you mentioned, Armored Core has always been a game with many parameters and is a game where you can enjoy the complexity and depth it offers, but we feel it's also a game where you can
I know
enjoy
I'm gonna
simply
be
by
into
assembling
building
your
the
AC
perfect
without
mech.
thinking too
Like I
deeply
want to
about
build
it.
the most balanced
Adjust
mech
the appearance
that
to
could
your
do
liking
long range,
and simply
could do
get out there
close
and
range,
pilot it and
has
take
great
it to combat.
mobility.
That said, in regard to new players,
I
we've
want a
taken
jack of
careful
all
steps
trades.
with the onboarding
I want
and
to be
level
able to do
design in the early
everything.
stages of the game, so that players
And
can
just
deepen
rely
their
on my
understanding
skill.
step by step, little by little, and work their way into that fun of the more complex parts. We've also prepared a training simulator where the player can learn the basics of action and assembly using sample ACs, and we've also tried to make the controls more intuitive, so that we hope that those who have no experience with the series will feel free to enter and enjoy the feel of piloting their very own Armored Core.
Are there any lessons that you guys have learned over the many years you spent developing the Souls games that you take into the development of Armored Core 6, even though they're kind of two very different genres?
Armored Core 6 is an attempt to take both the knowledge and experience gained from the development of our previous titles and combine it with the fun of mech customization that the AC series has always embraced. And in this sense, we hope to create a new mech action game that is worthy of modern From Software standards. Specifically, we're developing this game with an awareness of the things that From Software has always embraced in its other action games, such as a
Level design.
intricate map structure, combat design that allows
Combat, of
players to
course.
deal with enemies by carefully observing their movements, and the ability to overcome challenging situations with ingenuity and creativity. These are all, of course, things we've kept in mind with AC6 as well. However, as you mentioned, the basic format and genre of Armored Core is completely different from games in, for instance, the Souls lineage, so there are no aspects of the game mechanics or gameplay that can be directly observed.
You ready to climb the wall?
Can you talk a little bit about your goals with the combat design, and are there any kind of mechanics that players should know about that perhaps didn't exist in previous Armored Core games?
In terms of points we focused on this time around, I would say that individuality of the melee weapons is one of the key points. Armored Core is mainly
Melee
a shooting
weapons,
game at
that's
heart,
gonna be my
and
joint.
that's exactly why we had this policy of having more unique melee weapons this time around. So in addition to the well-known pile bunker and the cluster bomb launcher that you might have seen in the trailer, there are also a variety of weapons with different animations and more unconventional characteristics, such as a chainsaw and a laser lance, and things like this. In the trailer, you may have also seen a part where the core is deployed by an AC to generate a shockwave, and the pile bunker is then used against an opponent who is reeling back from this shockwave. This kind of building combos with multiple weapons aspect is an appeal of AC6's unique assembly and combat, and we hope the players will enjoy using their creativity and asking themselves, what combination of weapons
I
can
love the
use to
mobility in that
create my
little
ideal
section of
combo
the
attacks
trailer.
and secure victory?
So
There's
is
a lot
there
of
any
potential,
one
man.
new thing,
And
whether
it
it's
just
a
reminds me of
mechanic
Zone of the
or a
Enders
mech
2
part
so
or a
much.
weapon that you're particularly proud of and are excited for players to experience in Armored Core 6?
I'd like players to mostly look forward to something we touched on earlier, which is this using their ingenuity and creativity to create a combination of their own making and a combination of the various parts and weapons at their disposal. So, for example, they might be dashing across the battlefield while shooting ballistic weapons and letting missiles fly in every which direction. These missiles will connect with their enemy, knock them off balance, and then they'll use their assault boost to dash in with a quick burst of speed and finish with a melee strike. This kind of player-created combo and their own unique combination of weaponry and mobility will allow for this new aggressive, offensive style of AC combat, and we hope this is something that reinvigorates the series and that new and old fans alike can enjoy.
multiplayer has always been a big part of the Armored Core series. Is there anything you can tell us about multiplayer in Armored Core 6?
So I believe ACV was more focused on multiplayer as the last title in the series. But first of all, the main content of AC6 is positioned as single-player campaign mode where you progress through a more traditional mission structure. There will be an online PvP mode where players can compete against each other with ACs they have built and share their AC data and emblems of their own making.
PvP, let's go, baby.
But first and foremost, the story missions in AC6 are single player only. We would like players to go in there, become the lone mercenary lifestyle, and enjoy this aspect of the game first and foremost. We do hope to share more details about the online aspect at a later
I'm
date,
hyped,
so
man.
please stay tuned
I
for that.
am ready. Let's go.
Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings.
All right, well, that about wraps it up. Ogura-san, thank you so much for your time. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is set for release this August 25th on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. Thanks for watching, and for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.
All right. All right. That looks incredible. Armored Core looks incredible. And hopefully they release a demo, but even if they don't, I'm most likely gonna get this game because it's been such a long time since I've played a mech game and enjoyed it. Mech Warrior, Armored Core, Zone of the Enders, Gundam, anything. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.